So obviously the BMW chassis is coming out nicely. I mean, it's all personal preference at this point. It's basically just what I wanted to do, to just kind of clean everything up, pretty and simplified as far as, you know, what my tastes are. As I said in the previous video, we're always going to be going, you know, back in time just so I can show you the whole process of everything. One of the things that was definitely crucial was putting the tubes in the correct place. Where I had braced the frame rails, because those are obviously the strongest point, that's where the subframe bolts into. Basically, you know, cutting off almost 2 feet in the back made it obviously super loose, and it's gonna have some flex and everything like that. Where I had put that center tube where the down bars go to, and you'll see that in the video, pretty much is in center line of where the coil spring and the shock mounts. So it's gonna prevent it from flexing in any sort of way when you know, weight starts to get put on it, and you know, it starts to articulate and do all kinds of stuff like that. And then of course tying the down bars from the main hoop down into that center tube, because then that way it strengthens it up the most, because it's all tied into the chassis now. So one of the things, like I said, just bracing it properly and tying it all into the chassis, making it essentially one piece, you know, welding, plating, and everything like that. It's gonna keep it strong. It's gonna minimize flex. I did cut a lot out of this car. So one of the next things I gotta do is, I think I'm either going to redo the door bars. So the door bars themselves, they're just tacked in there. The A-pillar tubes are gonna stay. I like where those are at, I think. Depends, I don't know. I have a lot of tubing, so I may just redesign the door bar A-pillar tubes a bit. And then the plates, obviously, behind that are bracing the firewall up can stay. But I think I'm gonna redesign those a little bit just to better suit the build. Because I've noticed when the body's on, obviously the B pillar of the Bel Air sits in an odd place, so it doesn't look correct, and of course it's not going to, but I'd rather make the shape of the door bar look a little bit cooler, look a little bit more race car-y. So I don't know if I'm gonna just throw in some plates and weld it, or if I'm gonna just redo the bends and just kind of come up with something a lot cooler. So if you guys can, like the video, comment, share it if you can too. All of that really helps out. It means a lot to me. If you can help out, I'd appreciate it a lot. You know, obviously if you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. You know, any interaction is interaction in my book. So if you don't like it, don't like it. If you like it, like it. Let's get to the video, guys.
Red Sky, Celestis, live dal fottuto medioevo italiano. L'umanità è nata in Africa, poi ce ne siamo andati, poi ci siamo sbiancati. Fummo noi primi immigrati, tu che ti senti superiore per sfumatura di colore, da chi pensi di discendere, coglione. Due razze al mondo, quella umana e quelli come voi, poco diversi da semplici spermatozoi. Se è la patria a definirci, benone, tu sei diventato proprio il posto in cui sei nato, un coglione. Gli italiani pensano che Gesù fosse italiano, la domenica tutti in piazza in Vaticano. Ma i discorsi del Papa sulla guerra e sulla pace mi ricordano quelli di Miss Italia, mi spiace. Ho amici ecuadoregni, filippini, cinesi, ho amici vietnamiti, spagnoli, giapponesi, e ho amici italiani, sia bianchi che neri, ma non ho amici razzisti, tranne quelli nei cimiteri. Nei cimiteri, nei cimiteri, nei cimiteri. Aiutiamoli a casa loro su via, come quando portammo democrazia, come in Africa quando facemmo razzie, ai bambini a cucire le scarpe a Maria, come quando scoprimmo America e li sterminammo tutti, portando il nostro Dio in cambio dei loro frutti. E sembra che questi facciano una gita in barca, ma se arriva il diluvio anche tu costruisci un'arca. E a volte il viaggio ti costa un paio di figli, seppelliti dal mare nei suoi nascondigli. Fuga di cervelli, qua siamo rimasti in pochi, quindi continuate a mandarci barconi, perché ci serve un ricambio. È un paese di zombie, qui mangiamo fake news e vomitiamo opinioni. E il ministro dell'interno al suo interno non ha niente, e quando parla mente, ed è deprimente che tutta questa gente voti questa gente, non capendo niente, non sentendo più niente. Hai presente i tuoi bisnonni sul barcone? Hanno gli stessi occhi di questi figli sul gommone. Lingua lunga e memoria sempre corta, perché studiare è faticoso ma l'ignoranza conforta. Non servirà odiare chi fa pugni col mare, con la speranza di non vedere più il funerale di tutta una scuola elementare a causa di bombe intelligenti ma dal cuore glaciale. Ci dividono per comandarci, squadre di calcio, nazioni, prova a pensarci. Religione, sesso, generi musicali, la musica è per farci dimenticare di avere le ali, di avere le ali, di avere le ali, di avere le ali. E questi negri di merda ti rubano il lavoro, ma va bene le cinesi e il massaggio con l'olio. Ti va bene il brasiliano che ti doma come un toro, vanno bene le rumene con cui svuoti il portafoglio. Red Sky, Celestis, 1018, Italia, il medioevo del mondo.
In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head? In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie.
Non sopporto i telegiornali o i varietà che definiscono per nazionalità, tipo un rumeno ha ucciso un italiano o viceversa, perché non hanno nazione, un assassino o una vita persa. L'umanità è una, con tante culture, la musica è una, con tante sfumature, un'unica anima in tante creature, un unico mondo con montagne e pianure, un unico mare in tante tubature, un'unica malattia ma con tante cure, un'unica roccia ma tante sculture. Sembriamo diversi e divisi, eppure
Alright, so 58 Bel Air body. Obviously, it's not fully gutted. I still have to cut a lot more things out. A lot of sheet metal that's going to disappear. Here's the body. This is what the body weighs. So, that's not terrible. Front door for the Bel Air, both should be the same. Fender, that's been cut down to basically what the fenders are going to be. So, this one here, it's just about 29 pounds. So, might get a little bit lighter, but I'm not too sure. This is the hood. It's kind of wobbly, but it's the best estimation I can get right there. This here is the trunk. So, rusty piece. About 53 pounds. I'm kind of pushing on it a little bit, but 53 pounds, not bad.
We interrupt this program to bring you...
So, obviously, like I showed you, did a bunch on the tube structure. So, it's coming out nicely. Obviously, there's still tons more to do. There's still more to box up and brace, and I have to finish filling, you know, areas that have little pinholes and everything in the sheet metal side of things. There's like a little bead in here that looks kind of like crap up on the tube in one of these joints. So, I'm gonna fix it. I'll always fix it, make it look good, so I'm not gonna just leave it. But yeah, there's just tons and tons of work to do still. I have been doing for the past couple days was I have been driving this chassis. And of course I was trying to get videos of the car, you know, pulling hard on the, you know, with the turbos and the exhausts and, you know, the screeching slicks that are cold and just grippy. But anyways, so trying to get video for you guys because obviously you guys want to actually see this thing in action, and if it still works, and it does work, and it works perfectly well. Had an issue on the last test drive, which was Thursday, so 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I was driving and I started feeling a clunking, and I was like, what the hell is that clunking? Anyways, long story short, the stupid BMW lug bolts, so obviously the wheel sits on here and then you just screw your lug bolts in, as opposed to having studs and then a nut, right? So the lug bolts, I don't know what it was, if it backed itself out because of vibration. Obviously there's a huge tire up front, so from the factory, this car only had 17s and, you know, a weeny little 200 series tire or whatever. I forget the size exactly. But switching over to a super soft compound like slick, you know, race slick, and an 18, so bigger tire, you know, bigger wheel, more rotational mass. There isn't much of a weight difference because the wheels are all aluminum. And the race slicks are actually GT Cup tires, so they're super light even when they're aired up. So they're not heavy at all. But I think the vibrations from the tires gripping up just kind of jolted some things, and it basically backed the lug bolts out. So I know what you're thinking, you know, oh, I didn't tighten it enough or whatever. And that's probably true because I just slapped these things on here, gave it an ooga-dooga, you know, a couple ooga-doogas, and I've always been fine with, you know, wheels that have been put on like that, you know, just give it a couple ooga-doogas and it's perfectly fine. But I know I tightened the shit out of these things. I was sitting there for a little bit, so, you know, but, you know, whatever, long story short, I should have just torqued these things because what happened was they backed out. It kind of screwed up the threads a little bit. So, thankfully it didn't pull them out or it didn't damage anything. The wheel got a little bit messed up in the back, which big deal. I've had those wheels for years now and I'm not too hurt about it. You know, if it was a 3-piece wheel, I'd be pretty pissed. But them just being, you know, kind of like a sponsored set of wheels or whatever, big whoop, you know. Basically what I'm saying is torque these stupid lug bolts that BMW has because yeah, you don't want them backing out. That was not a good time. Good thing it only happened while I was going like 3 miles an hour, you know, down the road. But it was just clunking and wobbling, and I looked at the wheel, pulled over, and as soon as I pulled over, the freaking wheel fell off and the whole car like put its load on that one side. So luckily it was right down the road. Walked back home, got a jack, picked it up, put everything on temporarily. But like I said, I do need to chase one of these threads just to make it a little bit better, because it did kind of ding it a little bit. And I need to get new studs, because the studs got destroyed, which is great that the studs got destroyed and the hub didn't get destroyed. If the hub got destroyed, I would have had to take all this off, and I would have had to press out the hub from the knuckle. That's just the way it is because of the all-wheel drive system and everything. It doesn't just come out like the rear-wheel drive cars. So you have to press them on, press them off, you know, bearing and everything. So thankful I don't have to do that, because it'd be pretty bad. But yeah, so that happened, and I'll show you some driving footage in the next video. But leave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Doesn't matter what you do. I mean, obviously I'd appreciate it if you liked the video, but definitely comment. You know, even if you comment something is pretty stupid, I'm gonna probably respond to you. You don't know what you're doing or whatever. Probably right. So yeah, I'll reply to you anyways if it's positive or negative. If it's negative, you're gonna get a super sarcastic remark. Just letting you know. Please do all that, and I will see you boys in the next one. So yeah, peace, love, and chicken grease.